It's pretty cool.
It is nice.
Yeah.
I had a feeling we'd get a decent one over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect like little.
All that color coming up.
Yep.
Ah, the privy at sunrise. Just saying. Weather is really great today. I'm going to guess it's probably nearing 60 degrees, and I feel badly overdressed, but it changes quickly, and if the wind comes up from the west, it's cold, but I think it's going to be a really warm day. Probably take yet another layer off soon. I thought I would talk for a minute about my experience with kind of the mental aspects of the hike so far. I know there's some folks watching who are thinking about doing the hike, and I've heard it said that the mental challenge is as great or greater than the physical challenge. And I can believe that. I think I've felt pretty good about the mental aspects. But the other night, before I entered the Smokies, when I was sitting at the Fontana Hotel, I started feeling kind of bummed out. I went to my room and just read a book and tried to figure out why I was feeling bummed out. And I realized that surrounded by a lot of other hikers with different varying levels of experience, a lot of opinions, and I, for one, and I think several others, were, respectfully worried about coming into the Smokies with the weather forecast and potential for cold and things like that. And you start hearing people talk a lot about what gear they're bringing. Oh, I sent home for down booties and down pants, or, I've got my 0 degree bag, thank God, or, just all these things that caused me to question, did I have the right stuff? Was I really ready? All those kinds of things. And it's not bad because you want the benefit of that experience, but it did become too much for me at some point, and it started to bum me out. And as soon as I got on trail, I got all my mojo back. So I don't know if that's an experience anybody else will have. I'm sure the more experienced hikers won't have those doubts that go through their mind, but I did. That was probably the mental low point for me so far. Interestingly enough, even putting on icy boots on cold feet, all frozen, was easier. But also, there's a couple who left the trail the other night, young couple, and it got me thinking that it must be hard to be younger with all the questions of your life in front of you, relationships and money and jobs and houses and apartments and everything. And this couple said that they were bored, and when I talked to them a little more about it, I don't think it was so much that they were bored, it was that they have their whole lives in front of them to figure out, and they felt like each day hiking, not doing that felt, I don't know if wasted is right or not optimally spent. Anyway, they felt the need to get on with those things, and I can completely understand that. For me, the decision to be on the trail is really a personal goal in my head. It's not an external goal. And I ran into some local guys the other night at the first shelter in the Smokies, and they were kind of challenging guys. They were older guys who have done a lot of hiking. One of them had section hiked twice, one had through hike. And, they're kind of pot stirrers. They were just, kind of giving the ridge runner a hard time, and they were standoffish when I got there, and then, ended up being very friendly, but they were pushing buttons a bit. And they kind of said, more or less, what makes you think you're going to be one of the few that make it the whole way? And I said, well, if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. If I decide I'm not having fun or this isn't for me, then I'll leave. And he said, well, I get that, but that's not nearly the level of commitment you're going to need for this to happen. And I'm sure some of that was teasing, but in truth, for me, the goal is in my head. If you told me that I couldn't tell anybody that I had completed the trail, if and when I do, I'd be slightly bummed. It'll be fun to brag about it a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I got an ego. But mostly it's just because it's something I want to do and I enjoy it. And as long as I'm having fun doing it, great. I don't see how that could change, quite frankly. But if it did, I wouldn't have any problem getting off trail. All that being said, I don't see any possible way, short of injury or changes in things at home or something, where that's going to happen. So really individual. I think a lot of people, a lot of teams and team sport kind of things, it's all about, we're going to take the hill, we're going to, we're going to crush this. I don't choose to think about it that way. In fact, I find that gets me cocky and I make mistakes. I'm more kind of dealing with a personal goal that I'm excited about and feel good about and having fun with. So I don't know if that's helpful to anybody. That's how I'm thinking about it. And for me, the mental game so far seems to be going really well. But everybody's wired differently. So those are my experiences. This little green box up here says that I am officially exiting the Smokies. So that's goodness. It's been fun. Smokies have been good to me. I have zero to complain about. It was a cold first couple of days. Well, you know the whole story if you've watched the videos. And I feel fortunate that I had the good experience that I did, respectful of what's possible above 6,000 feet at this time of year, and happy that I got a beautiful day and gonna keep on going. Feels strange to be walking along a road. I guess this is Route 40. I thought we were probably getting in the general area of Asheville, so there's an Asheville sign. I don't know how close we really are. Yeah, I'm not sure how long I'll be walking along the road. Can't be too far. The change in temperature down here at about 2,000 feet on the day that's getting nice and warm is hard to fathom. It's like 70 degrees and beautiful. I just finally took off my second shirt, which is way later than I should have. I'm all sweated through, but it feels really nice. It feels like summer. I don't know what'll be over the top. Let's see. Maybe some downhill. Been a lot of up. Well, flat, that's good. So this is Snowbird Peak, and that is some strange communications thing, apparently. That's the description in the guide. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm in Area 51, I gotta say. It's really weird looking. I think I'll just keep going. Maybe we're talking on Mars, I don't know. I'm just settling into my hammock for the night. I think it's about 6 o'clock, but you know, it's hard getting settled once it gets dark, so you kind of have to settle in. But it's not freezing, so I could actually be outside of it. Most nights thus far, I think every night thus far, it gets so cold that you just want to crawl in your sleeping bag. Tonight, feels like it's going to be warm. There's no wind down here. Where I ended up camping. I did about 20 miles again today, and it was much more challenging terrain. So I feel good. My back's a little tired, so it'd be interesting to see. Sleeping in the hammock should be much better for my back than the shelters have been. So I'm optimistic that I will wake up refreshed. Ended up sleeping literally right next to a Forest Service road, which is probably 6 feet over that way, which is not ideal. I'm hoping there won't be any people out marauding on it tonight. It's a calculated gamble, I guess. But I had been up and down looking for a place that had trees that would support the hammock and be safe. And this was the best option without having to go another couple of miles. And I was really kind of too tired to want to do that. So hopefully it'll be a nice quiet night. So I told you I missed that Standing Bear Hostel today. I guess there's a bunch of stairs coming up off the road. You're supposed to go up those stairs and then go a mile, and I missed it. And you know what? The truth of the matter is, I just don't trust stairs because they're always up to something.